Okay, this is the Super Dooper Looper Box that I'm planning to ship out tonight. And this is the box it comes in. Nice fancy box that shows the Super Dooper Looper Box on it. And so I'll open this box, and inside of it is the unit itself. And you can see the top of the unit over here. So these are the 6 channels you could select on and off to select your pedals. This part of it has the selector switches that sets the ordering. Normally I would keep it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You never want to have them set on the same channel at the same time. If you like to order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just keep it that way. If you'd like to swap pedal 2 or 3, then you'd put this on 3 and this on 2, and then it would swap the 2. But normally I like to keep them on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you could set it any way you'd like to. So this is the top of the unit. It has the selector switches. Over here, this is the part that goes out to your pedals. So this is called in and out. Now the in always goes to the out of your pedal. The out is like the part that would go out to the amp, and the out would always go to the in of the pedal. So the in is the part that you would normally connect your guitar to. So this also has the main input for your guitar comes in here on this side. So this is where you'd plug your guitar into, and this is if you want to use 9-volt external power. It also has a battery inside, so if you're not using the 9-volt external power it'll use the battery. If you are using it, it won't use the battery. But if you don't like the battery, you could always take the battery out. You don't need to keep it in there if you are using pedal board power. So that's up to you. The battery is a little bit difficult to get out. It's kind of wedged in here. You have to actually take out one of these, I believe it's this one, the number 5 out. You have to take out to get to the battery. It's suggested if you're not going to use the battery, if you have a powered pedal board, then don't use it. But in some cases people like to play outside. They don't like using their battery, or they don't like the pedal board power. So it does have that option. This is the bottom. It's got a fancy design on it with rubber feet, and over here this is the output. This would go out to your amp, or would go to other loopers, wherever you want to hook it to. This is your output. Okay, so normally you would tie your guitar in here, over here, and your amp over here, and your pedals go in here. So I'm going to check this out and show you how it works and make sure it is working, make sure it's fully functional. Okay, I have the looper box hooked up, and it's hooked up to 6 boxes. All 6 channels are occupied here. This first box is a boost box, a clean boost, and this is a distorted boost. They're actually the same boxes. I just have the gain turned up higher on this box, and I have this set for a clean sound. And the third box, channel 3, is a phase shifter, and channel 4 is a flanger. And channel 5, I have that set up as a phaser. This is a multiple configuration box. And channel 6 is a digital delay. So the first check I would do is just looking at on battery power. So I'm going to take out the pedal board power, which is over here, and turn the units on. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn all the power off first. So all the power is off. So I just want to check the battery in this thing. So this is channel 1, so it lights up, so that's good. Channel 2 lights up, 3 lights up, 4 lights up, 5 lights up, 6 lights up. So the battery power is getting to all the LEDs. Now when I hook in external power, since I don't have it on, they shouldn't light up now when I push them. So it doesn't light up, 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 doesn't light up. That's a good check there. So now I'm going to go back on battery power. So I'm going to pull out the external power. So it's back on battery power. And I'm going to turn on one effect. This is the clean boost. I'm just going to turn it on so it lights up. So I just want to show what happens when you pull. If you pull the input jack, this is the input. This would be, say, the guitar input, and this is the guitar output. When I pull that, it should remove the battery power. So it's a feature that's in there so you don't drain the battery. So I'm going to pull. If it's not hooked up, if the input's not hooked up, it cuts off the battery power if you're on battery power. Now the battery power only feeds the LEDs. There's no active electronics in this unit. So I'm going to pull the input, and you can see the light goes out, the LED goes out. When I put it back in, it goes back on. So now I'll just put the external power back in. I believe with external power, if the light stays on, it doesn't matter. You know, when you use external power, you don't have to worry about draining your battery. So that's a pretty neat feature. So the next little check is just to make sure I can select each pedal effect. So right now these two aren't on. I got to turn these on. So you want to make sure all your pedals are activated. With these pedals over here, they're funny because when you unpower the system, they turn off. But that's something of those pedals. But anyway, I'm going to check all the effects. So this is with no effects selected. So that's a true bypass. The signal just goes right through. So that's with no effects. I actually do have a little reverb on here, but I always have that on full time. So I'm going to select the first effect, which is a boost. So you can hear the clean boost kick in. So I'm going to turn that off. Now I'm going to click in the distorted sound. So I have this set for a real high frequency, high tone. So now I'm going to demonstrate the phase shifter, which is channel 3. So that's the phase shifter, so that's working good. Channel 4 is the flanger. So that's working good. I have another phaser configured in that blue NUX pedal. So 6 is just a digital delay. So now we're going to try a couple combinations. So this is the boost and the distortion. You kind of get a super distortion with those two. It's a little loud too. So I just had the phase shifter. So here's the flanger and the phase shifter. So here's another second phaser. And lastly, the delay, the digital delay. So if all the effects on doesn't sound that great, so I'm going to turn these on. What's kind of neat, if you have the boost and the distortion with a delay, that's kind of neat. Now everything's off. So the one thing I wanted to show is how this is connected. See, this is the output of the box. So the output, this is feeding channel 1. The output feeds channel 1's input, okay? And this is the input of the box, and that goes to channel 1's output, okay? So this feeds through, this is the input, feeds out, and then back to in. It might be a little confusing, hard to see, but this is how the loopers are normally hooked up. And likewise on channel 2, this output goes to channel 2 input, and this input goes to channel 2 output. So output always goes to input, and input always goes to output. You always want to set it up that way. And this is the guitar input here, and this is the guitar output. Okay, now I want to demonstrate the bypass feature that this looper has. When the plug is not hooked in, it's not every time that you'll have 6 pedals, sometimes you'll have less. So if you accidentally activate it, it has a feature where it goes in a bypass if the input is not plugged in. So here's pedal 1, the boost. So I'm going to pull the plug, and this is with the boost on. Now the boost is off. Boost is back on. Here's the distortion. Distortion off, but it's in bypass now. Distortion on. Here's the phase shifter. Phase shifter's on. In bypass. That phase shifter has a big pop when you put it in and out. Flanger on. Flanger's on. Flanger's bypassed. Second phaser's on. Second phaser's bypassed. Second phaser's back on. Delay's on. Delay's bypassed. Delay's back on. Okay, now I'm going to swap two of the effects. So I'm going to put the distortion on and this flanger on. I believe I have set for phaser. So right now the signal's going to distortion to the phaser. So it's hitting that box first, that box second. So now I'm going to swap the two. So I'm going to put this, which is on 2 now, on 5. And I'm going to put this 5 on 2. And I'll put it on. You don't really hear too much difference when things are linear, but you have to experiment with that, and it would be hard to go through all the combinations of all the orders. There's quite a few there, so there's 6 effects and 6 different orders you could possibly have, so it's a big binomial expansion to try to figure out all the different combinations you could have. So I'm going to go back to the original now. But I had tested this before and it does work. So now it's going to hit the distortion, then the flanger second. So that part of it seems to be working. So before I pack this up, I'm going to do a little jamming here. Time to pack it up. Okay, we're going to put it in this box here. So this is the nice storage box for it. And that goes into the shipping box. Oh, you know, I'm going to put some bubble wrap on it. Okay, it's got bubble wrap around it just in case it gets left out in the rain. So I'll put it in the package now. And I'm going to add a little bit more newspaper in here to pack it in nice, and then we're going to ship it out in the morning.